Hey guys, I'm Trevor.
I'm Vincent.
And we are the Anthony and Todd Show. Today we're going to be taking a look at Playboi Carti's debut album, Lit. Playboi Carti, Atlanta rapper, model, and former H&M employee. Signed with ASAP Mob's I read it and said there was a G, like an L at the end, but there's not. So, Og label.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was featured on Cozy Tapes 1, where everybody was not as asleep, but later on they would all take their sleeping powder. And I have reason to believe that Playboi Carti used a horse tranquilizer on every member of ASAP Mob and then walked away. He's most well known for his single Magnolia.
Off his debut mixtape last year, which I listened to and I thought wasn't terrible. Enjoyed it more than Cozy Tapes 2 because he seemed more energetic and more awake. But I think he just didn't really find himself. And on this, his newest album came out a couple months ago. When I listened to it the first time, back in May when it dropped, there's moments that really impressed me, like Lean for Real, Fell in Love. I didn't really understand his approach, but as time would later go on, I realized what I really enjoyed about this album and what Carti does so well about it, and how his approach from this record is so different from his last one. But he still hasn't really found the full connection to the music he's trying to make or what he's really good at, but it's an improvement. So basically with this new record, Lit, Carti, I always want to say Carti, like Cardi B.
No, this one has a T.
I know. I always want to say Cardi for some reason. I don't know why.
Carti.
But so basically, Playboi Carti is basically collaborating over a lot of beats from Pierre Bourne. He's creating a lot more spacey atmosphere on this.
Yeah. It's
trap, it's minimal, but at the same time, he's doing a lot of different things. He's not really rapping a huge ton. It's a lot more hooks, vocal performances, and ad-libs, if that makes sense. There are still a lot of verses, but none of them really feel like verses. Like moments later on with Chief Keef, Mileage, I find his verse is not even a verse. He's just saying a bunch of random names. He makes references to Miley Cyrus, Kanye, and Kylie Jenner, and just doing a bunch of ad-libs to fill the parts in between. Same thing with Pull Up, which is the chorus is just all ad-libs. And I have a hard time calling them ad-libs. They just seem like random screeches that make no sense. And that may sound harsh, but I really enjoy the style performance he's going for with this. Even when he's just doing ad-libs, I think sometimes the ad-libs create variation and progression and some distraction to the beats. The beats are really minimal. There's some good synth work being done on this. What?
I was just I was re-looking at Carti's verse on Mileage, and it's literally just doesn't make any sense.
Can you read it off for me?
Ooh, Miley Cyrus. Oh yeah, Miley. Oh yeah, Miley Cyrus. Wayne's World. Oh yeah, Kylie. Oh yeah, Calabasas. Oh yeah, Kendall Kylie. Adidas deal. Oh, shut up, Kanye. Crazy girls every Friday.
See, that just proves my statement even more.
He just names off every member of the Kardashian family and talks about his Adidas deal.
Yeah, but his goal for this isn't supposed to be he's not a fiery rapper as he is just an interesting artist.
That's a really good way of saying it, because in all honesty, Playboi Carti lives by the hook and he dies by the hook, and there are some tracks on here where he definitely lives by it. Lean for Real, Shoota, a classic, Poke It Out, Fell in Love, Mileage is ridiculous, Choppa Won't Miss, but then there are some where he definitely dies by the hook, or dies by the lack of hook.
Old Money, Foreign,
Pull Up,
yeah,
Flatbutt Freestyle is horrid. It's awful.
Yeah, there's moments where he, I think, more or less tries to be a more traditional trap rapper, and it just doesn't work out because he's not as talented as a bunch of SoundCloud rappers. Even though I think the work on this is really good, I don't think he's really that talented. I think he's able to get his performance together sometimes, and it makes it interesting. His ad-libs, going back to that, I think they create just a nice thing that almost becomes like a layer of the production sometimes. Like on the intro, Long Time, I think he's able to create like these layers of ad libs that like almost provide like additional instrumentation, and that is so needed because like Long Time is essentially just one synth that's going all over and over again, and it's catchy. Like there's a lot of the synth loops on this are super catchy, like, and they create these like nice spacey atmosphere moments which are nice, but like Long Time is just one synth over and over and over, and there's not much like progression to it, and like the ad-lib provide like much needed progression. But like moments that are really enjoyable about this, you already mentioned like Lean For Real with Skepta and like Poke It Out with Nicki Minaj. A lot of these features that are on here I find to be they work well with him. Like Skepta on Lean For Real does a really good job of actually providing like much needed lyricism to this album and being a talented artist. Travis Scott later on provides a nice complementary flip side of the coin to Carti. Like I think they still both of them work off this like spaciness that is kind of like Travis Scott's style as well, but he's able to do a little bit more heavy-handed lyricism same way that like Skepta did, but he has these nice like he kind of does what Carti did with his ad-libs, but instead he has this like vocal performances backing himself up, and it provides this nice much needed variation between his voice, his verse, and Carti's verse, which is also really cool. Nicki Minaj is set up so perfectly on this by Pierre. Her verse is very glitchy. It's very ad-lib heavy. There's like these weird moments of like just almost like meows and like purrs and like this echo parts where it's really echoey, parts where it's really reverby. She's just presented so hypnotically and glitchy that I find it to be really enjoyable. Matched with Carti's like just like annoying hook, which is like poke it, poke it, poke it. That fits so well with Nicki in such a strange way that I find it really strange. Bryson Tiller on Fell in Love, providing this very almost pop heavy like verse. His vocal performance on there I find really captivating. His couple lines that he does sing, it reminds me almost, I'm gonna say this and it may sound like a diss, but I actually mean it in a compliment, like a young Chris Brown. Like Chris Brown before he was an asshole, but like Chris Brown when he was really pop heavy and he was making like good pop singles that had a really captivating vocal style. Young Thug and his collaboration with Carti on Choppa Won't Miss, like they fit so well together. They're having so much, you can tell they're having so much fun over the track, over the like the whimsical synths and the trap drums. Young Thug just kills it, and like towards the end of this verse you hear this like kind of his like sound becomes very like harsh, and it like creates this like interesting performance that we haven't really heard from him. We've heard Young Thug be like kind of like brutal, like I remember the track he did with Meek Mill and Carnage last year, that was really brutal, but this time it's like something new, and he provides an interesting performance that is able to work in the realm of Carti. Like Carti on this album is creating a very spacey atmosphere, and he's working in the realms of that a lot, because I think a lot of this album, I think Lean For Real is a great example of this too. It's almost like being high or being drunk, and almost like the experience of it. And I think that's what a lot of his music provides. It isn't empty. Like I think a lot of people, when they try to do that sound, almost like kind of psychedelic, kind of out of body sound, they make it sound really flat. But in this, it actually seems very fluid and very moving, and just completely out of body. And it's this weird kind of mesh of different sounds and different moments that are very repetitive, but they all provide the same atmosphere, which I think is really cool. This thing is 57 minutes. It doesn't really need to be this length, and there's a lot you can cut down on. I think a lot of this is more traditional bars, a lot of more traditional moments on here where he tries to go back to a lot of the sounds he did on his self-titled mixtape, I think don't really work. But moments where he's completely spaced out and almost in another realm, doing these weird hooks, these weird ad-libs, these weird nonsense verses, I think it really works for him. And the fact that he's finding a lot of good collaborators to work with and people who present him really well works. There's a lot to like about this album. There's a decent amount to not enjoy, and there's a decent amount to improve, but I think on this album he found himself. Now he just needs to learn to cut himself down. That's all I can really say.
After listening to this, I definitely understand like why it's called Die Lit, because as you said, like the feeling of like being drunk or being high, I think is perfectly like personified in these sounds that he's creating the majority of the time.
Yeah.
Or some of the time, I guess. There are some songs that really, really hit, and they hit like really well in that kind of atmosphere that he's trying to create. These like otherworldly, you say like out of body, but I'm thinking like just complete loss of control, I think is a really interesting thing to try to capture in music. And he captures it really well, but like with very minimal effort, and that kind of just blows me away, because you listen to this and say like, oh, I could do that, but like, could you really? 'Cause
Yeah.
it seems like there's a lot of effort that goes into this, but Carti makes it seem so effortless.
Yeah.
Obviously, for every time that there is a hit, though, there is typically like one that doesn't hit as hard. We've named like a lot of the good tracks: "Poke It Out," "Shoota," "Lean for Real." These are all like very out of body experiences, but then there are also ones that are like, I could,
Just
give or
like-
take like a long time, it's
Like
whatever.
right now, like I think Home was another moment that just
Yeah.
didn't capture. But like for every moment, like Shoota with Little Uzi Vert, where they flow so effortlessly together and they bring out the best of each other almost in their like goofiness and their fun, and the piano is a nice touch that brings out this like whimsical vibe. There's moments where like No Time with Gunna, it's just not needed.
Yeah,
It just-
there's this album easily could have been cut down to 30 minutes. I mean, give or take. Something that's easily digestible, easy to just kind of lose yourself in for a little bit, because like the thing about losing control of your body or losing control of yourself is that you don't want it to be permanent. This feels like it's trying to be permanent. It's not long lasting. The times where he does hit, and like his use of collaborators on here are outstanding. I like a lot of his work with Pierre. The tracks that he didn't work with Pierre on,
moments like Lean for Real, like I think.
those are actually like, I prefer those to the moments with Pierre.
Yeah, like
I'd love
Indigo
to see
Chick-
him explore more producers and production options.
Yeah, like Indigo Child Rick on Lean for Real provides like an atmosphere that's even more spacier than what Pierre provides. Like I think Carti should still collaborate with other artists, but I think Pierre has a good sense of what he's going for. Pretty much a majority of this album, but
He
like I
shouldn't
think
limit himself
to that.
Yeah, like he's still a young up and coming artist. I don't think he should limit himself to what he's doing now. I'd love to see him explore more things. I also, after listening to this, I have to wonder how long this like kind of persona he's trying to put on is going to last. Like I just read one of his verses and I thought it was hilarious. But like what's the standing power of that verse?
Yeah.
What's the standing power of this style that he's going for? Because in all honesty, like if he continues to make verses that are exactly like that, like if he doesn't improve his lyrical game or continue to work with countless collaborators, then I'm not sure how much longer Carti's gonna have like on the market. You know what I'm saying?
And it's just a little pump effect essentially. Like I think what he's doing right now is very interesting, and I think he's finding a new aspect of trap that I really enjoy, or a new personification of trap that I really enjoy. And I think it's fun, but what's the ceiling on this?
Yeah.
And does he know where the ceiling is, and he's gonna attempt to reach it? Because like this like length and setup wise is very similar to his self-titled mixtape. And will he finally cut himself down at some point and finally get to a moment where he is putting out really good content that is going for this style?
Yeah. And I don't think that he should completely switch over all at once.
Yeah.
I think his next project should kind of be a mix of this and maybe something else if he wanted to explore a bigger concept or tell some sort of story or something. But I think if he made a Die Lit 2, it might be well received in the moment, but I think it would get completely lost in the charts. I just don't know how long this staying power is. But for now, I enjoy it. And I guess that's all that matters, is that I enjoy it in the moment.
Yeah, I think he just needs to... He has a good sense of what he's going for here. I think he just needs to kind of continue with it and see where it goes.
Yeah.
But it's good...
With the active, I think you should also have like it actively in mind that at some point he should probably explore a little more.
Yeah.
Instead of just continuing on the same path. So overall, I give it a man backflipping out of 10.
Okay.
Man diving off of a
man-
table out of 10.
man
into
jumping.
Dave Grohl's arms.
Yeah, Dave Grohl. I love that Dave Grohl's on the
He's
album
on
art.
the album
Yeah. But until next time, guys, I've been Vincent.
I'm Trevor.
See you, boys.
Bye, everybody.